Hi everyone, my name is Alicia and today I wanted to do another thrift flip video. And even though it feels like summer is right around the corner, it was literally snowing the other day here in Canada. So I wanted to squeeze in a couple thrift flips, doing thrift flips with like kind of sweaters and long sleeves before the weather gets too warm. So I have 3 items that I wanted to flip today. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different for each of these sweaters and long sleeves, so stay tuned and let's get into the first one. Okay, so when I was brainstorming about what I should do for this thrift flip, I didn't really know that I actually wanted to do anything to this sweater, but I found this extra like ribbon, I guess, that I bought a long time ago from Fabricland, and I actually used it to make these pants that I DIY'd like probably over a year ago, and I had a little bit extra left, so I was like, okay, what can I do with this extra stuff? And then I was like, okay, maybe I can put this ribbon cord thing on like a shirt or a sweater, and I was kind of like looking at what I had, and then I came across my Tommy Hilfiger sweater and I thought, oh my god, like how perfect would it be to just like add this across? I think that would look so cute. So that's what we're gonna do for this first thrift flip. So I guess the first thing I'm gonna do is just lay the ribbon across the sweater to see where I want it to go. Okay, so I just have the sweater laid out here and we have a couple different options that we can do. We could go down the arm on both sides like I have it here, which would be pretty cute, but I'm thinking something more like this where it would go across here and across the arms. And fortunately we have plenty of ribbon to work with, so I can definitely wrap it around the back end as well. So I started by cutting each piece of ribbon to size to fit around the sweater, leaving a tiny bit extra just in case. I didn't end up trimming the last piece that I wrapped around the torso just because I might as well have all the extra pieces that I need. Before pinning, I just measured the distance on both sides from the collar just so everything was even, and then I just pinned everything down. I feel like this band is like kind of low, like it looks kind of weird. I feel like it should be a little bit higher. And I feel like the arm, like I only did one arm because like I knew I would probably have to redo this, but I feel like this arm is kind of on an angle. Do you see what I mean? I feel like it needs to go straight across to create like one solid line. So I think I'm gonna redo that. So this is what it looks like now that I fixed it. It goes a lot more straight across, which like looks better. So I think we're ready to sew. I started sewing each side of the ribbon down, making sure that the end of the ribbon finishes on the side of the sweater so that you don't see the line when it's done. Once I was done one side of the ribbon, I realized it was a lot easier if I pulled the sweater onto the sewing machine arm first, so there wasn't as much fabric bunched up. As you can see, even though I cut extra ribbon, the ribbon wasn't quite long enough, so there was a tiny gap there. So we'll kind of deal with that later. But it goes to show, just leave extra allowance because you never know. Then I just finished sewing up the ribbon around the torso and cut off that extra piece that was left. The one thing I want to fix is on the parts on the arm. So even though I thought I had cut extra, it wasn't quite enough. And there's these like awkward space in between here, which isn't really a huge problem because it's like right in the armpit where you can't really see, but you can kind of see it just enough where it looks kind of janky. So I'm just going to quickly use that tiny little bit of extra that I had to kind of like repair that area. So I just cut an extra piece to size and quickly sewed it on to fill the gap, and let's see how it looks. This is what the final sweater looks like, and I'm super happy with it. It's pretty much exactly how I wanted it to look like, and honestly, like I feel like this was meant to be, right? Like it looks complete now. The only thing that I could have done better was like the armpit area, but honestly I think I patched it up pretty well. It doesn't look too janky, and even if it does, it's hidden underneath, so like I'm not gonna worry about that. So let's get on to thrift flip number 2. Alright, so the next item is this Adidas quarter zip sweater. It's one of my favorite sweaters, but I just really don't like the way it kind of cuts off. I think it's kind of like an awkward length where it's like not too long and not too short. I was going through my sewing box and I realized that I actually have elastic. So I thought, like, how perfect would it be to elasticate and cinch in the waist? And I think that's just really the perfect solve for this problem, and I think it's gonna fit really, really nice. So let's get to it. So I just flipped the sweater inside out so I can see where I want to kind of crop this. You are gonna have to make it slightly cropped in order to like make room for the elastic waist. I don't want to make it too cropped. I kind of want it to just fit maybe above my high-waisted jeans, and I'm anticipating that like once the elastic's in, it's gonna kind of pull it up even more. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mark with my marker right here. That's where we know that we kind of want it to hit. So I just tried it on and I'm really not liking how it's looking right now. I kind of screwed up the back and it just looks really dumb, like someone did a really bad DIY. I feel like I did not crop it nearly enough, so I'm basically gonna redo everything. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do this properly. So I'm basically just going to be sewing a line along here to create a hem, and essentially just a tube for the elastic to go through. Just make sure to leave a hole for the elastic so you can pull it through. I then took a safety pin and secured it to the elastic to make it easier to pull through the fabric. And I just started to slowly pull it through, kind of like an inchworm. And when I was done, I just tied it at the end for now. Now that looks way better. This is how it's supposed to look like. There's no more bunchiness anymore. It's hitting like perfectly right above my high-waisted jeans. It's not all messed up in the back. I'm happy with this. So we're gonna move forward. I guess all we have to do is just sew the elastic together because right now it's just tied, and then close up the hole, and then we're done. So I just sewed back and forth on the elastic to hold it together. I wasn't super confident that that would hold that well, so I just left it tied just in case. Then I closed up the hole and cut off all the excess fabric, and that was it. Okay, so it's finally complete. I'm super happy with it. It looks better than I thought it was gonna be, to be honest. I'm really glad that I went back and fixed the whole mess that was happening before. It looks so much better now and like doesn't even really look handmade. This is exactly what this sweater needed, and I'm really happy that I did this. So the sun is setting, so I think we're gonna save the last thrift flip for tomorrow. Okay, so now it is day 2. The next item that we're going to do is this blue kind of like denim-ish button-down shirt. I never wear this, so I feel like if I give it a new look and transform it a little bit, I'm gonna like be more likely to wear it, which is kind of the point of all these thrift flips. What I wanted to experiment with a little bit was bleaching, and I know it's been really popular to be bleaching like jeans, like half and half, so it's like half blue, half white, and I didn't really want to sacrifice one of my jeans right now to do that, especially if I like don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. So I thought this would be like the perfect opportunity to kind of create that look but in a shirt. The thing is though, if I just were to try to like bleach half of this, I feel like the back would end up looking really weird because I would want like a nice clean line of like blue and white. What I'm going to do is cut this shirt completely in half and remove this front pocket here and then just bleach that whole half so it'll be completely white. So first things first, let's cut this shirt in half. And in order for this to look like it was done properly, I measured out where the center of the shirt was and drew a few dots so I could connect them to create a straight line. Then I carefully cut the shirt along that line. Once the shirt was cut in half, I just took my seam ripper and removed the pocket so that it wouldn't get bleached. Okay, so we have now moved on to the bathroom. I just changed into some clothes that I don't really care about. I have a bucket here and a rubber glove just to be safe, and I just quickly googled it and it suggests to do 1 part bleach to 5 parts of warm water. So I think I'm gonna do that and at least start with that. Okay, I guess we'll start with water just so we can see how much we kind of need to fill, because this bucket's quite wide, so we're probably gonna have to put a little bit extra in order to submerge the shirt all the way in. I think I'll probably just guesstimate. I'm not really gonna be precise on the measurements, but I'll do about 5 parts water. Or I guess put however much water in and then put in the 1 to 5 parts of bleach. Yeah. So I put about 10 cups of water, so I'm gonna put maybe like a cup-ish and a half of bleach. This is meant for your left hand, but I kind of need to use my right hand. I feel like that sounded like a cup and a half. So I think I'm just gonna put the shirt in there. Okay, I think I'm gonna put more water because it's not really fully submerged, and that's probably gonna be a problem. I think I'm gonna put a little bit more bleach because, I don't know, I know I just put it in, but it doesn't really feel like it's doing anything. Okay, so now the shirt is like almost completely submerged in there, so I'm just gonna let it sit and simmer for a bit. It doesn't really look like it's doing anything right now, but like maybe when we check back in on it, it will have lost some color. Okay, so it's been about 2 hours now since I left it to soak in the bleach. And at first I kind of like didn't really think the color was being removed at all. Now looking at it, it does look slightly lighter than before. But something I just realized is that because it's like, it's wet, when clothes get wet, usually they turn a little bit darker. So once this is dry, it's definitely going to be a lot lighter. So I thought, in order to see what that difference would be, I just took the little pocket piece that we cut out before and I wet it just so we can see the contrast between how it's going to look when both of the things are dry. It still obviously looks blue, but compared to what the actual color of the shirt is when it's wet, it's obviously a lot lighter. And I don't think that I'm ever going to be able to get this to be pure white. So I think I'm happy with how this is looking, and I think we're gonna move on. Rinse it out and then throw it in the washer and dryer. Once out of the dryer, I pinned the pocket back on and sewed it into place. Then I started sewing the shirt back together. I started with a straight stitch along the whole shirt, and as you may have noticed, after coming out of the dryer, the ends started to fray. So I went in with a zigzag stitch, one going onto the fabric, one coming off, just to hold the loose ends in place and hopefully they will not continue to fray. Okay, so this is the final outcome of the shirt and I love it. I think it looks so cool. It's pretty much exactly how I thought it was going to turn out. I kind of was imagining this to be a lot lighter, like basically white, but I still think it looks really good. Not gonna lie, I was pretty worried when I was bleaching it and it didn't really look like it was really changing color. I honestly thought this was going to be a total flop, so I'm really happy that it turned out. And I'm definitely gonna wear this now. And I think it's a really cool take on like the two-toned denim kind of thrift flip, DIY, upcycle, whatever you want to call it. So this was the final thrift flip of the day, and I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching. Bye.